Tami Neilson. I'm Marty Duda, and Tami, congratulations. Your new album is out today.
Yes,
Here
it's
it
very
is.
exciting.
Sassafrass.
Yes, after 8 months of hard labor, it's finally like, get out, you know?
Oh, we're having that talk, are we?
Talking about the album,
Oh, okay,
but yeah.
all right.
Last time I was here, I was massively pregnant,
That's
so
true.
there's a theme, a running theme.
But I'm thrilled that you're wearing the dress, because and the sequins are blinding. I can barely...
Like any excuse to wear it,
Yeah.
any excuse.
So is there a story behind the dress?
Yeah, there definitely is. It was designed by an incredible New Zealand artist based in Wellington, Zoe Hall, and she hand paints all of these leather patches and then sews them onto an already existing dress, which I love that it's recycled. And then she put 3,000 rhinestones on this sucker.
I don't know where to look.
I know. It wasn't quite enough, but you know, we had to make
3,000
make do.
rhinestones. That's very cool. Is it comfortable?
Not particularly.
Right.
It's fine. It's just quite heavy. It's quite heavy with the rhinestones and the leather. Yeah.
Well, at least it's winter time, so.
But I don't care. I'm a woman. We don't care about comfort. It's just about the look. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you have a song on the album which we're going to hear called "Devil in a Dress." So segues right in. So.
All right. Dress. I see what you did there.
Yeah. So what can you tell me about the song?
The song is actually about how poking fun a little bit at how society tends to stereotype women in either the role of, you know, the bad girl vixen or the damsel in distress, you know,
the girl
innocent.
next door.
Yeah. And so it's kind of tongue-in-cheek poking fun at that.
And when you're wearing the dress, which one are you?
That's the thing. It's like we're so much more complex than those two stereotypes. So that's kind of the little point that I'm driving home.
All right. And before we hear it, just run through who's in the band so we know who we're listening to.
We've got Joe McCallum on the drums. We've got Brett Adams on guitar, Neil Watson on pedal steel and guitar, and Mike Hall on bass.
Fantastic. All right, let's give it a listen.
White smoke curling from her lips, ruby red cherry on her fingertips, tight skirt wiggle when she walks, curses like a sailor every time she talks. She's a devil or an angel sweet, heart of innocence or villainy, one-dimensional fantasy. Here to curse or bless, a damsel in distress, or just a devil in a dress. 10 Hail Marys from her lips, rosary running through her fingertips, white linen rustle when she walks, blessings on the children every time she talks. She's a devil or an angel sweet, heart of innocence or villainy, one-dimensional fantasy. Here to curse or bless, a damsel in distress, or just a devil in a dress. White smoke curling from her lips, rosary running through her fingertips, white linen rustle when she walks, curses like a sailor every time she talks. She's a devil or an angel sweet, heart of innocence or villainy, one-dimensional fantasy. Here to curse or bless, a damsel in distress, or just a devil in a dress, just a devil in a dress.
Okay, we're back here with Tami Neilson, and she has her new album Sassafrass out today. Very exciting. And one thing about the album that I noticed is, and I think a lot of people have already made comments about, is the songwriting has seemed, not that there was any knock against what we heard before, but it definitely took a step up. And I'm curious, as from your point of view, what is that true, and what does that mean? I mean, does it mean you're spending more time, working on the lyrics or coming
Definitely
up?
not.
How does it work?
It's definitely not having more time, because I'm a mom of 2 little ones, so time is actually less. So maybe there's something in that, but no, I think that this album is definitely, I've lived a bit longer. I have more to say, and I kind of had this, in my personal life. 3 things happened over the last few years. I lost a parent, I became a parent, and I turned 40. And I think those 3 things really change your perspective and your priorities. And I think that the well is definitely a lot deeper after those experiences.
Yeah. And musically, I mean, I think a lot of people originally, when they heard you, kind of thought, oh, country or rockabilly kind of thing, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but there's definitely more to what your sound is now than that.
Yeah.
Are you doing that on purpose? Is that just kind of where you're thinking in terms musically?
No, I think that it's kind of just a natural progression. It's definitely not like an intentional thing. I think it's just, things that have influenced me along the way. But even in 5 years ago, even with the Dynamite album, I always say I tend to paint with the same palette. I have, rockabilly and soul and country and gospel and blues. And those are the genres that I always play with. And I feel like they're all connected, that they're all related to each other. They were all born in the same place. And so I see it as a natural thing to bounce between those. And I guess this album I've just painted with more of one color than another.
Right.
As I did with Dynamite, it was kind of maybe more of the country rockabilly colors, whereas this one is definitely leaning more into the soul and rockabilly territory.
Alrighty, and speaking of soul and rockabilly, Soul Miss Jones is obviously about Sharon Jones.
Yes.
She was an influence, someone you looked up to?
Oh, she was one of my heroes, and I always enjoyed her music, but it wasn't until I saw her documentary, Miss Sharon Jones, that I really felt deeply connected with her. I loved that, she was so full of sass and strut and swagger, and so inspiring, her resilience going through what she did and just the challenges she faced all through her life. She was told she was too fat and too old and too black, and she just pushed through, and it was like a big middle finger to to the haters.
Yeah.
And she was 50 years old when she made it, and I've got a good 10 years, like she's my beacon of hope. So this song is definitely, it's a love song. I think we need more of those songs that it's the admiration and platonic love between 2 women, and that admiration is something that we need to celebrate more. And there aren't a lot of songs about that, and I do love that it's called Miss Jones, which is often used for kind of a blanket statement for women, or Mr. Jones being men, and so I do love kind of that double meaning of it being specifically about her, but it's also very it's much broader than that, celebrating other women.
Cool. All right, let's give it a listen.
Talking sash shining with her big brass. Haters, they can kiss her ass before the door hits it. Drop the mic, don't care. Bring the fire everywhere. Tell her no, don't you dare. That girl is gone. Get it, get it, get it. Hey! All right. Swinging skirt, feet jumping. Man, that woman sure is something. Get your blood pumping. Damn, the girl can't sing. 100 nights and days, the queen and kings play. Tearing up every stage of hurricane on lane. Look out! Look out! Get it! All right. Miss Jones, ain't no one above you, Miss Jones. Miss Jones, Miss Jones. Oh, how I love you, Miss Jones. Genuine, real deal. Girl has always kept kept it real. Don't you know she's still here? Can't you hear her sing? Heaven, yes, hell no. This ain't mama's last show. Teaching angels, don't you know to get up off that thing? Get up, hey! All right. Miss Jones, Miss Jones. Ain't no one above you, Miss Jones. Miss Jones, Miss Jones. Oh, how I love you, Miss Jones. Yeah. M-I-S-S-J-O-N-E-S. M-I-S-S-J-O-N-E-S. Yeah. M-I-S-S-J-O-N-E-S. Yeah, yeah, yeah. M-I-S-S-J-O-N-E-S. Yeah, Miss Jones, Miss Jones. Ain't no one above you, Miss Jones. Miss Jones, Miss Jones. Oh, how I love you, Miss Jones, Miss Jones. Ain't no one above you, Miss Jones, Miss Jones, Miss Jones. Oh, how I love you, Miss Jones. Oh, 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 oh. Hey, yeah.
All right, we're back here with Tami Neilson. We heard, what was it, Miss Jones, and we got one more to listen to. But one thing I wanted to ask you about, I know I saw you performing quite a few shows in between the last album and this album, and some of them were kind of tributes to older artists from like old blues things and things like. Was that kind of a process for you of working out what else you can do vocally from what you were doing before?
Yeah, well, again, it wasn't like an intentional thing it's just something that I got approached by the Christchurch Jazz and Blues Festival, and they asked me to curate a show. They wanted to do a gospel show in the Cardboard Cathedral.
Right.
And I kind of had to put my thinking cap on, and I thought, wow, that could be quite intense, like to do a full, hour and a half of gospel music. And so I said to them, well, what if I do, tell the story of how gospel became rock and roll, and gospel's influence on rock and roll and all of the artists of today who, really wouldn't exist without that foundation of incredible music. And so I curated this. The show was called Songs of Sinners, and we covered, everything from Sister Rosetta Tharpe and Blind Willie Johnson, all the way to Bob Dylan, Tom Waits, Mavis Staples, Ray Charles. Mahalia Jackson, all of these incredible artists, and it just naturally ended up really stretching me vocally. It was these huge songs. And they were songs, that you sing with such conviction and power. And I performed that for a year. We were doing various tours of the show. And when when we kind of were winding down, I thought, I want to sing like this all the time.
Right.
It really challenged me. They were, as a performer as well, not just a vocalist, but as a performer, they're big songs. You've got to, really infuse it with the same, it's almost like you're taking on their persona. And I really wanted to keep that going. And I think when I went into writing this album, I definitely, that was a massive influence on me, because I wanted to be performing that kind of music all the time. And with the same conviction and passion that I had singing that music, I wanted to sing about something that was passionate for me and held a lot of weight to it.
Yeah. And I see Sister Rosetta Tharpe just got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall
About
of Fame.
time.
So things are happening slowly but surely. Is Big Mama Thornton in there, I wonder?
I'm not sure,
She ought to be.
and Nina Simone was at the same time. So it's starting to get the recognition they deserve.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we got one more song. This kind of the cornerstone of the album, "Stay Out of My Business."
Yeah, first single. It
Yeah.
was so that's kind of the sucker punch right off the right off the top. Like, this is what you're getting into.
Right. All right. Well, good luck with the record. Thanks for coming by and playing. It was fantastic. It sounds amazing.
Well,
and
thank you.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Thanks for having me.
Your head is shaking, your mouth is frowning, your tongue's a wagging all over town, and your eyes are judging. your elbows nudging on the poison that you spread with each nasty word you said. Stay out of my business. 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 Stay out of my business and leave it alone. The only business you got is your own. Well, did you do that all by yourself, girl? It's not that good, you might need my help, girl. Without your star hitch up to my wagon, girl, you're never gonna make it. No, your ass gonna be dragging. Stay out of my business. 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 Stay out of my business and leave it alone. The only business you got. Damn if I do, and damn if I don't. You want me to play that game, but I won't. You only have me causing trouble and strife. But I'm too busy with my damn food without you in it. A woman stay home to raise the babies. Must be nice to do nothing, must be lazy. And so she go out to make the money. How can you leave your babies? You're a bad mommy. Stay out of my business. 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 Stay out of my business and leave it alone. The only business you got is your own.